So we know we got a neocortex and the limbic system. The one is the thinking part. This is the part where we process our surroundings, the world around us. So it's much more like our intellect. The other one is much more like our emotions, even connected to our memories, where we react directly with no filters at all. And now for this video we're gonna zoom into the limbic system and to understand 3 specific reaction categories that I'm gonna show you today, or at least tell you about one in detail. So those 3 are also in a particular order, and that goes like shock, fly or fight. In this video you're gonna even learn a few tells that you can read to your patient or the people around you and categorize into shock, fight or fly. And as I already told you, we're gonna concentrate today on shock alone. Those few tells can tell you if the person around you is right now in a shock state, with certain amount of tells that you can read from now on perfectly, and you can act upon them accordingly. And a little reminder about the book that is actually the foundation of my body language work is by Joe Navarro. I'm gonna put the link into the description box. If you're interested into medicine and communication, a very rare combination, just give this video a like. If you feel like you want to say something or comment on something that I said in this video, just leave a comment in the comment section and support this tiny work of mine with a subscription. So that's all it. Let's dive into the topic. So there are 3 reactionary categories from the limbic system that we have in common with the animals around us. And those 3 reaction categories of the limbic system actually enabled us to survive dangerous situations. Doesn't matter if it comes to life or death situation or just dangerous situation in a very social sense. And the message about this is by reading, recognizing those tells and putting them in those 3 categories makes us better in understanding and reading the people around us and make us a bit of more social human being who can understand the people around him or her much better. If we take a look in the animal world and see how fast the prey is running away from his predator, it looks like this animal who's running away always loses, because the predator can catch them actually almost every time. And the problem is that those animals who do this kind of behavior are actually dying in the end much more likely than the other ones who considered a whole other option that they never did. And that is being in shock. That can be manifested in multiple ways. For example, the best way to be in shock is, like plain simple, playing dead. If you just play like you already been dead and lying down on the ground, it makes it for the predator much more difficult to see if you're even able to move. Do you move fast? Because they can only visualize things that is moving quickly, or can recognize movements that are very quickly and can act upon it very quickly. If this animal is just laying down and playing dead, is breathing slowly, like doing as if it's already been killed, it's gonna be difficult for the predator to find that out, see and distinguish, and leave them most likely alone. That's what you see with sheep or other kind of animals. If they are in danger, they just been in a shock state and fell down and don't do no movement. And the interesting thing is the same goes for human being. For example, there are reports from mass shootings where survivors were actually right next to the murderer, but wasn't recognized by the murderer because they were already on the ground, didn't do no movement, and are simply being dead already. And the murderer, in his very adrenaline pump situation, has already a tunnel vision and can't see or recognize many things around him. He can't recognize the people who are already lying down, and just looking for the people who are already running away and doing quick movements. So if you are in those kind of extreme situations, a shock moment might be a very good response. Let's be honest, those situations are extremely extreme. It's not very likely that everybody experience those kind of scenarios. And I hope that the most people in the world won't never ever experienced something like that. But let's reduce it down to something that modern people or modern society or people in general are facing today. The best examples and the most relatable ones, especially among students, is the situation when the professor is asking a question that you actually don't know about, and you don't want to embarrass yourself in front of class, don't disappoint your professor, and so on and so forth. Once he spoke out this kind of question, we're already starting to move slower, just breathing slower. We're even trying not to make eye contact with the professor so that he can just pick us as he wants, because nobody else raising a hand to answer this question. This kind of reaction is very likely a shock reaction from the limbic system, because we're trying to slow our movements. We're even trying to not move at all. We're trying to breathe way slower, not very deep. Even that we are trying to not make eye contact, just with the goal to somehow disappear in the room. Because we don't want to be there right now in this situation, we want to avoid the situation. So we're trying, just like the sheep, just like the praise in the animal world, we're trying to hide ourselves, trying to disappear in the hopes that the professor in that case doesn't see us. We're trying to disappear completely. And the same goes for other situations where we're trying to deceive other people or even lie to other people, or even being in a situation where we are about to get caught in our lies and in our deceptions. So you can see those kind of shock reactions oftentimes in live shows or even in live court shows, where the suspect is about to get caught in their deceptions and lies. You can see how shocked they are, and this is a typical situation or typical shock reaction of the limbic system in this kind of moment, because this person is stuck and trying to understand the situation and start to consider the options that this person has in this moment. Or other example, when you're on your way to the work and already midway you remember, oh, I forgot my stove to turn it off. And you go back. This whole tiny moment where you may be already halfway to the car, trying to start the engine, and right at the moment you just been shook for a second. You don't actually do nothing in this moment, and you remember right now the stove that's still on. And this is the typical limbic reaction shock situation, where you actually trying to consider the possibilities of your actions, what you can do to avoid this or fix this moment. So this is very important to understand, that first of all, before we actually do something, we need time to process the situation and consider all the possibilities of our actions or options that we might choose. It's completely right, and the only way that's, at least for me and of course the author Joe Navarro, is to start with the shock situation to every limbic system reaction, because we need time to consider or understand our situation, consider the options, and then choose. It's either fight or fly, or much better way around, fly or fight. As I already promised you, now we're getting to the tells. The first tell and the most easiest tell to look after is breathing. If you have somebody who is breathing normally like I do, just chilling, just being normal, and take sometimes a deep breath, just be as normal as usual, you start to talk and you're talking about different topics, and all of a sudden about one topic, this person somehow decides to breathe slowly, not very freely. The answers might even come very quickly and very short, not very long and describing as before about other topics. And this quick change might indicate that this person is not lying, this person is not deceiving or something like that. It might be a reaction that might indicate this, but those kind of limbic reactions only shows discomfort. And this is the main category that we have to think about: comfort and discomfort. And this kind of shock situation always indicates discomfort and never comfort. The other one is a very easy one, and this is the turtle effect. The turtle effect is being seen by many situations, especially by children, when they took something, I don't know, for example a cookie or something, trying not to be suspicious to the parents. Or this kind of behavior is also been seen by thieves, where you can see that the thief is trying not to make much movements, trying to disappear somehow, just accordingly the shock reaction of the limbic system, is not moving that much and is doing this turtle effect, where he just elevates his shoulders and put his chin further down. This is a very good indicator that this person is very uncomfortable right now, very big discomfort, and is somehow trying to disappear in this situation as much as they can. That's all it. Don't go deeper than that in the interpretation. There are many other aspects that I need to cover when it comes to interpretation, so be very cautious. Just differentiate between comfort and discomfort. And if somebody shows you those kind of tells that I was telling you about, you can be very sure that this person is very uncomfortable right now, shows discomfort. You can ask and do direct communication and trying to figure out why this person is uncomfortable right now and how you can help. This is the best way to do. Don't try to see big theories behind uncomfortable behavior or uncomfortable tells. It's more likely that the explanation behind the behavior is very easy and very reasonable to explain. So don't jump to conclusion that doesn't apply to anyone. So that's all it. 2 tells and a bit about interpretation, where you can interpret in comfort and discomfort and how you deal about it, and 2 tells about the turtle effect and of course the breathing. That's all it with the shock reaction. We're gonna continue with the next video about the 2 other options that we might choose, and that is fly or fight. So see you next time.